In a small African village lived an 11-year-old girl named Amina, whose voice was so beautiful it could make the birds stop singing and the wind stand still. But gradually her voice grown quiet, her laughter replaced by a hollow silence, and her parents, busy with their business, barely noticed the change. They left her in the care of her uncle, a man with a charming smile but a heart as dark as the night. Amina's uncle had promised to protect her, but instead, he became the source of her deepest pain. Night after night, he kept abusing her and warning her not to tell anyone. Amina endured the unthinkable, her voice stolen by fear and shame. She tried to tell her parents, but they were too preoccupied, too distant. Children should be seen, not heard, her father would say, brushing her off. Overwhelmed by the pain she could no longer bear, Amina climbed a hill one evening and poured her anguish into a heartbreaking song. The song was a confession, a plea, a final cry for someone to hear her. But no one was there to listen. The wind carried her words away, and the town below remained oblivious. When the last note faded, Amina stood at the edge of the hill, tears streaming down her face. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and stepped into the void. The next morning, Amina's parents found her drum at the foot of the hill, its surface cracked and stained with tears. Beside it was a piece of paper with the lyrics to her song, written in her shaky handwriting. As they read the words, the truth crashed over them like a tidal wave. Their daughter had been crying out for help, and they had been too blind, too busy, to see. Amina's mother fell to her knees, clutching the paper to her chest. "We failed her," she whispered, her voice breaking. Her father stood in silence, the weight of his regret crushing him. They had been so consumed by their struggles that they had forgotten the most important thing, their child. At Amina's funeral, the townspeople gathered to mourn the girl with the golden voice. Her song, now known as the Silent Cry, was sung by the villagers, its haunting melody a reminder of the pain she had endured. As the final notes of the song faded, the village elder stood and addressed the crowd. "Let this be a lesson to us all," he began, his voice trembling with emotion. "A child's voice may be small, but their pain is immense. We failed to hear Amina's cries, to see the storm behind her silence. Let us not make the same mistake again. Listen to them, for their silence can be louder than any cry." In remembrance of Amina, a large stone was erected in the heart of the village, engraved with the lyrics of her song. The stone stood as a solemn reminder to parents about the cost of neglect and the importance of listening to their children.